Romans 8 says, "For the creation waits in eager expectation for the children of God to be revealed. For the creation was subjected to frustration, not by its own choice, but by the will of the one who subjected it." You know who that is? AKA Adam. He's the one who subjected. Because what does God do with the garden? What does he do with the earth? He gives the keys to Adam. You're the stewards. You be the small k kings of this. Reign, rule, domain, dominion. Name things. Work it. Have it prosper and grow. And all that comes crumbling down. But you got to go to the end of the story, at least the story that we know right now. Revelation 22, what do we get back? The original job description. We get back the garden. We get to eat of the tree of life again. And we will see him face to face. And there will be no more tears, no more enemy. No, oh my gosh. Can you imagine? Me either. Be beyond our wildest comprehensions. In Search and Rescue, we wrote, if you're looking for a simple equation to live from, one principle by which to run your entire life, then you're going to be forever frustrated. You're also going to end up living in a story that is much smaller than you deserve. If I believe the story's about me and revolving around me, then I'm living in way too small a story, and I'm going to miss capital L life. Purpose-driven life had this right when Rick Warren wrote in the very first phrase, "It's not about you," but he had it half right. The other half is, it's all about you, because he leaves the right hand of the Father, right, Barry? He relieves the right hand of the Father. What's the value of anything? What you're willing to pay for it. Oh, it's all about you. The ransom, the redemption, and the restoration of the image bearers of God, this story is so about you. So we made a map about this environment, and that's what you have on your seats. Typically, we've done a whole talk on this, and we're going to give you that on an email. We're going to give you the MP3 for free. We're going to email it to you, the whole Two Realms, Two Kingdoms talk. What did I tell you the first night? Time is against us. But I want to highlight a few things about this map. 1 John 5:19, we know for a fact, the Amplified says, that we are of God, and the whole world around us lies in the power of the evil one, opposing God and his precepts. Which coming is going to take care of that? The second coming. The first coming took care of the distance between the Father and his sons and daughters. No more sin. No more sin in the way. So don't live like that. Live like this. Does that sound familiar? This is who you used to be. This is not who you are anymore. What's that sound like? Every letter written to the churches, right? So there is a power, there is an influence. It's under the sovereignty of God, and yet it is doing its part in the larger story. And if you don't know the larger story that your story's in, then how can you play your part? If you don't understand the context of your story, right? If I give you a context like Middle Earth, what kind of story do we have? You see, the environment is related to the characters. If I say we're in the 100-acre woods, what kind of story are we in? We're in a Pooh story. That's Pooh story. We're in a Winnie the Pooh story. Edit that out. Okay. So there are two kingdoms. You have to understand kingdoms. This is the context of our story. There are two kingdoms at war over the alliance, the allegiance, and the affection of our hearts. They're not in diplomacy. They're not in discussions. There are two kingdoms at war. The Prince of Peace and the Prince of Darkness. One wants to give you life. The other wants to bind you, steal, kill, and destroy. But I came that you might have life and have it to the busy. Have it to the full. And the heart is what the battle's all over. The heart is what this conflict is about, because both kingdoms know that if they get your heart, they get the man. Because the biblical theology of the heart says that this is the place that your desires, it's where the motives, it's where what you believe resides. Psychology, psychiatry's caught up with this about 100 years ago, and they gave it a name. You know what they call it? The subconscious. You ever been driving somewhere and end up somewhere else? Guess what took over? Something deeper and more powerful than your conscious thought could fire. Conscious thought, I think it's like 400 blips a minute. You know what unconscious thought is? 4,000. So do you see why two kingdoms are at work over your heart, this deep place? Proverbs, the whole book, Solomon is telling, hide these principles where? In your heart. Where do we receive Jesus? What's the scripture say? Into our hearts. Into your wicked heart? No, Tom made it clear. There's a transformation. That your heart, there's a heart replacement. There's a heart surgery. Something happens at the core of a man, and who takes up residence there? Jesus does, through the Spirit. You're indwelled. That's why the heart is so critical, and why the enemy wants to put some of that stuff in the basement so that this new home that Jesus lives in can now and again, there can be a hostile takeover by the false self, flesh, Satan and his whispers of lies, and this fallen place that most of us don't understand how it works. No, you have a redeemed heart. Your heart is good, and you're being invited to live from it and being equipped to live from it. Proverbs 4:23, above all else, guard your heart, for it is the wellspring of life. Oswald Chambers says this, we look upon the enemy of our souls as a conquered foe, and so he is, but only to God, not us, not yet to us, right?